Roll Tide. Roll Tide, everybody. Thank you for being here. And let's talk about tonight's game between Alabama and LSU. Lot to get into. Everybody's pumped up. I'm pumped up. Big win for the Crimson Tide. I think we learned something about LSU. They're a damn good team, too. And tip of the cap to Jaden Daniels, who was injured in the football game. Tough football play, but the guy is a hell of a ball player. But Jalen Milroe, just like I said, was going to run the football. And you guys, my friends have been blowing me up, but I said it was going to happen, and it happened. I just knew it. I just had this just gut feeling that he hasn't been healthy and that finally the guy's healthy. That finally the guy's back to where he's expecting where we're expecting him to be. So we're going to hear from Nick Saban on the show. We'll play the Nick Saban press conference after he, when he gets in there and starts talking. We'll try to cover that live, but we may have it recorded. It doesn't matter. We're going to talk about Alabama, the win over LSU. We're going to try to take your calls. I'm going to see if I can do it. Had some issues trying to get this thing figured out. I think we got it figured out. I'm pretty sure that we got it figured out. And so I'm just elated, man. I mean, this was a tough football game. You know, the LSU, their offense is legit. That's a legit offense. You know, and I thought Alabama would be able to slow them down a little bit more than they did. But man, Jalen Daniels, he looked like Forrest Gump running. I mean, it didn't always amount to a pretty run, but no one could touch him. It's like he just would run through everybody. And I'm still just sitting here wondering, let's figure out if we got these phone lines working. I'm going to try to take a call and see if these phone lines are working. If I got it figured out. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Oh, this is Pee Wee from Green Bay, Alabama.
Oh, no,
Actually,
it's not.
No, it's not. It's Brett from Walker County.
Bro, it is so good to hear you, man. The phone system wasn't working, so I'm like, I gotta get this figured out before we go on the air. But it's my main man Brett Elmore from Jasper, and brother, what a damn good win, man.
Yeah. Oh, it was a great win. But you understand the Pee Wee reference, don't you?
Oh, I know he calls.
You know, he's always the first caller on the Hey Coach.
Yeah, I know.
And he always wins like a coffee cup or something from Red Diamond or something.
He's not.
He probably has so many coffee cups.
No, he's not Tyler from Spartanburg. You know, getting on Dabo Sweeney's ass. You know, pissed him off. And by the way, they won the football game.
Yeah, good for them. I'm glad for the Fighting Dabos. That's great. I'm glad they won, but I've been happier that we win this ball game tonight. And I thought maybe it would come to a turnover or two. Sitting there watching, I thought, if someone gets a turnover here or there and can convert, probably going to win the ball game. Then Bama does that, but. Welcome to the Jalen Milroe Show. Where have you been, Jalen Milroe? It's not his fault. Even the Danielson and the broadcast crew was, talking about how they'd met with the coaches earlier in the week, and well, when are you going to let Milroe run the football some? And I said, well, it's coming. It's coming. I'm thinking, hell, we got 3 games left in the season. When's it coming? And it came tonight, and the guy's got wheels. Obviously, we just saw what he did. Looked good tonight, I thought, against a pretty good opponent, and we're in the driver's seat now.
I think Milroe was hurt. I'm staying by that, man. I think he was hurt. I think that's why Vegas changed that line so much when they were playing Texas A&M, and then he was a drop back passer. He didn't have the explosive burst, and then against Tennessee 2 weeks ago, you could see it coming back. Today, he was the Milroe from the beginning of the season. He didn't have those wheels for a few weeks, man. think about, he scored 4 touchdowns, but I think it was the third one. He just rolls out, and then it looked like everyone was frozen in time as he's running into the freaking end zone, man. Like, he didn't have that coming in to Arkansas. And I think the Tennessee game was when he was starting to feel better.
You might be right, yeah. But everybody and their mother knows that that he's got the wills to run the football. And we were talking earlier, some design plays, and I was glad to see that. And to beat LSU at home, we beat them handily. Like I said, we got Kentucky coming up on the road, which isn't going to be easy.
Right.
Then we got Chattanooga, and then of course Auburn in the Iron Bowl, which can always go either way. Doesn't matter the record of either team, but still we're in the driver's seat, and just got to keep winning, and we may end up in that Final Four. I don't know if we win out. Do we end up in the Final Four? I would like to think we would, but there's a lot of folks ahead of us, and today was an interesting day in college football. I thought maybe some of these folks would fall, and it would really go to our advantage, but they didn't. So
my score pick was 44-20 for Alabama. So, I mean, I just got a text from somebody saying that's pretty close. It was a little bit more hair-raising, Brett, than I thought. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't feel like dominance. And before we get in, let me say hi to Jersey Dolphins hanging out with us. Get in there. Dolomite, man, one of my favorite old school movies. Daniels got knocked out of the game like Devo and Friday. Vine, roll RMFT, roll motherfucking Tide. Kimberly, great to see you. We've been hanging out for a long time. I'm proud of Jalen too. 1, 2, 3, 4 touchdowns. Reminded me of Sean Alexander, 96. My buddy Kelvin Ghost is like, man, you're going old school on us. And I'm like, yeah, because we went to school together in Alabama. I'm like, we're OGs, man. We were there back then. We know. This was a Sean Alexander against LSU performance from 96. He almost went for 300 yards. Jalen Milroe today had a legendary performance, Brett. Legendary.
Right. He showed out today, and I'm extremely happy for him, because the kid has, even on this show and on several other shows, he's caught a lot of flack. And people say, you need to bench his ass and get somebody else in there and blah, 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 blah. But I'm happy for him. It seems like he's really taken the leadership role. He's really developed. He's not perfect. He's not. Right. Nobody is.
Nobody's perfect.
But I'm really happy for the kid, because I know that he hears all the negativity from the beginning of the season, and to have a performance tonight at night at home against LSU in one of the biggest games of the day, where everybody's watching, and he performs really well, and the team performs, I thought, fairly well. We springboard into the final 3 games of the season and see where it goes.
Yeah. I mean, we got to enjoy this one, Brett. We got to enjoy it. We got to enjoy it at least for a couple of days, man.
Well, yeah, we got to enjoy this one. Yeah.
They talk so much
but
shit.
But I tell you,
they're good fans. They are good fans. They're good people. I don't always understand what they're saying, but I like them, man. They're passionate. They're, we've been tangling.
Oh yeah, they're passionate.
But they're cool.
I got into it with I got into it with about an 8-year-old kid one time in New Orleans. No, it's a true story. I mean,
Was he calling you
I
Tiger
was
Man?
at yes.
As a matter of fact, he was.
I, I was down there for the national championship game, and I was at one of the events, whatever it was, a concert or whatever it was, and I'm standing there, and this kid walks past with his parents, and looks at me, just the ugliest eyes in the world, says, "You're a Tiger, man." I said, "You're a corn dog," and anyway, I thought, I can't believe this kid just said that.
Right.
But anyway, total fun. They're passionate. Um, they're passionate, and
It's going to be a long ride
this
back
is
to
a
Baton
good
Rouge.
rivalry.
Though. It's going to be a long ride back to Baton Rouge.
Yes, it's going to be a long ride back to Baton Rouge, and I'm glad that we handed it to them. And I'll let you go and let you get to other callers, and always enjoy the show. Okay.
Well, I love you, brother. Thanks for calling in. Roll Tide, man. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Let's get after it next week. Now I tell you, next week, Kentucky can be a little sneaky. We don't need to.
We got.
Yeah, we don't need to. We don't need to let our guard down.
We got to get refocused. All right, great call, Brett. Roll Tide, man.
Roll Tide.
All right, let's go right back to the phone lines again as we talk Alabama and their 42-28 win over LSU. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hey, Mick, it's Iceman, but from the past. Can you go
baby.
and tell me what the score is real quick for the game?
Yeah, dude, I know. I mean, it felt really good, 42-28. Like, we had to score more points than I thought. I had it at 44-24. But what I always call it, Ice, is the elixir. When you run over the opposition and you give them the medicine, the old-fashioned elixir, you're going to win the football game. And Brian Kelly knew that they couldn't stop Alabama in that running attack at the end of the game. But what a great win.
Right. So you're telling me that Jalen Milroe lowered his shoulder and he hit a defender and put him on his butt.
No, a lot. He did it a few times.
Oh yeah, that man. All right, I'm gonna hand the phone to present day Iceman, and he's gonna come and take over. Roll Tide, Nick. Roll Tide. No, for real though. That was. If Milroe can change his jersey number to 7, I would be a happy Atlanta Falcons fan. I'll just put it that way. He looks like a better version of Michael Vick. He looked like it tonight. And if there is still anyone out there, and we're going to say this every week because Milroe keeps proving people wrong, there's still anyone out there that is saying that Milroe is not the guy that's going to win football games for us. I don't know what to tell you.
There's no talk about it.
I mean,
that's over. It's over.
Yeah.
He was Sean Alexander 96 against these guys. And you guys are too young to remember. Sean Alexander ran the F over them. Almost 300 yards as, I think, a freshman. This was that type of performance. Milroe, 20 carries, 155 yards, 4 touchdowns running, 15 to 23, 219 yards passing. They could not stop him. It was unbelievable.
And you know what else was nice though was he was able to find his checkdowns when the pocket was collapsing around him.
Oh yeah,
that one to not McClellan. Who did he throw it to? Was it Jam Miller? Where he got like a 20-yard gain out of it.
That was a great pass. It was Jam, and he got it over.
Harold Perkins. It was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was great because it seemed like he had been struggling on that all season, where he was trying to find that check down because the pocket's collapsing around him. He's trying to find it. He found it tonight. That was great. I couldn't be more proud of the guy. If I had to give an offensive MVP, there's just no way. But now let's get to the uglies. All right, I'm going to address it real quick. It's going to be quick, and that's it. Will Reichard, he's got the yips tonight. I hope that it's only tonight. Oh man, maybe he just got the yips. Maybe that's what it is. He's like, you know what? I just can't get it tonight. I hope that it doesn't translate over.
Thank God we didn't need him tonight.
Thank God. But, I mean, I really wanted him to kind of bump those numbers up and be the all-time leading scorer, though, because, I mean, I'm on the campaign of Will Reichard for Heisman.
Right. You love him.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he is. I mean, I remember a time where we could not get a field goal to save our life. And now we have a guy who almost every time he goes out there, we can guarantee.
Oh, yeah.
And that's nice. Defense, Dallas Turner really changed the game. With that tipped up ball, and I'm glad that Tyrion Arnold was the one who got it.
Me too.
But Dallas Turner made that play for that interception.
Look, I agree with you, man. The possessions were so important in this football game because it wasn't really like a football game. It was like a basketball game. Both quarterbacks could run and throw, and both offenses were damn good. Their offense was their offense was impressive. They were better than I thought they were going to be honest with you.
Oh man, Malik Neighbors,
he can play.
That guy is. He was making catches that looked like Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
In some ways, and I know it's a really wild comparison, but you know when those moments when Devontae Smith would just jump up and do some acrobatic stuff and catch the ball. Malik Neighbors has been doing that all season. You got to give the guy credit.
Right.
He's that kind of wide receiver. But another guy I would like to talk about though for us, because I want to talk about the winners more, is Kendrick Law.
What a game.
Looks a little familiar.
What a game.
Doesn't he look like somebody that we used to watch wearing a crimson jersey?
You felt like he looked like Julio a little bit today, don't you?
Yeah. That's what I was saying. And I was like, you know what? I guarantee you, if I ask Nick and don't even say the name, that's exactly who you'd say.
He's big.
He looks like him. The way he runs and gets upfield.
Yep.
I can't wait to see him actually featured seriously in the pass game where he's running out down in the slot or something. I think that right now we're fine with 007 and Jermaine Burton.
But Isaiah Bond, 5 catches, 60 yards too, by the way. Hey,
it was great.
One of my notes, Ice, these guys can freaking catch. I mean, these guys, they catch the ball. They are back to being Bama receivers. We had last year where they dropped the ball all the time. These guys catch the ball all the time. You give them a chance, and I remember it, man. They're good.
I remember those conversations and phone calls from last year where the main topic every night on this show was, man, why can't our wide receivers catch the ball? Now we're not even complaining about it. We just know that if it's a missed pass, it's mostly because Jalen Milroe just overthrows them a little bit. But they're not dropping the ball, and you're right, and that is nice. I think that Jermaine Burton definitely got millions of dollars coming back to Alabama.
Hey, he can catch, man. He can catch.
I can't wait to see.
And make moves.
I can't wait to see where he goes.
Maybe he'll go to your Falcons.
I would. Oh, maybe. We need him. I'm hoping that we get him, and maybe we can go and get Milroe or something, but I'm hoping we get Caleb Williams too, so. I'm a little I like to call myself a recovering Falcons fan because you don't lose that Super Bowl like that and never recover from it.
Yeah, I know. I can imagine that being tough.
No.
Receiving wise, let me just go through these real quick. Isaiah Bond, 5 catches, 60 yards, big game for you mentioned 007. Chase McClellan had the 1 catch, 42 yards out of the backfield. Jams catch 1 for 35. That was a great play. Jermaine Burton 3 for 29. They were big catches. Cedric Law 2 for 25. Kobe Prentice a catch for 22. CJ Dupree made a great catch for 11 yards. They weren't always easy, but they were there and they caught them. And then once they caught the ball, they did stuff with it. And then you add that to 46 carries for 266 yards and 6 touchdowns on the ground, and you send them back to LSU, to Baton Rouge, with their tails between their legs. That's what you do. Right back.
Holy cow. And a lot of those yards you were saying were after the catch, too. That was the best part about it. They caught the ball and they kept moving. And they kept us in the game.
Man,
I am so glad that we
it, man. Like and my wife's like, hey, you shouldn't go on there and tell everybody that you were right about Milroe not having the gear. And I said, it's what I do. I asked people, I use my sources, they're telling me no, and I'm watching and I'm saying something wasn't right. He wasn't.
I agree.
Everybody's like, oh, well, Nick Saban, they didn't want him to run. Hell no, that's not true. Because when you have that ability, you do that. Something happened before the Texas A&M game. The Vegas line does not do this. It just doesn't, unless they know something. And the guy just won everyone over because he just muscled it out, not having his biggest weapon, and won games. And they weren't easy because this is what he does. He's faster. And I said it, and the LSU fans were on here talking their shit, and it's like, look, I know Jaden Daniels is a great runner. Milroe is a better runner because he's faster and he's more physical. And what did we see today?
Yeah, he runs like a running back. Well, he runs like a running back, too.
He looked like – Daniels looked like Forrest Gump, and that's a compliment, It didn't look pretty, but you couldn't catch his ass, okay? And then Milroe.
Yeah, run Daniels run, right?
Milroe looked like Derrick Henry. Like he's either going to outrun you or he's going to truck your ass. And that's what happened in this football game. But the guy scored 4 freaking touchdowns running.
On his feet. Yeah, that was the best part. Like I was just on the phone with my brother about this, and we were talking about it. And I don't think we threw a single touchdown pass.
No, it was.
We didn't throw a single touchdown pass.
I said it last night on the and I know a lot of people listened to it on the radio today, but I said it last night on the show. The secondary with all those freshmen, it wasn't the passing, it was the running that was going to get them. And you don't think of it. Maybe I said that on Elephant in the Room with Coker and Ryan Anderson, but I think you did. But you remember
I haven't finished that. I'm like halfway through on that.
But what I'm saying is it's like when you're a true freshman, it just takes time to figure all that out. Now you got this guy running at you, and if you take a bad angle or you're too aggressive and he gets by you, it's a freaking touchdown. And the third touchdown that he scored, where he runs to his left, and then all of a sudden he just accelerates into the end zone and no one touched him. He didn't have that gear until this week. He just didn't. And now all of a sudden he has it, but he's Iceman. He's got the experience now of having to be a drop back passer. And I've heard from my people that the guy's a workaholic, that he works his ass off. It makes him so much tougher because look at Daniels. Was LSU's offense that impressive? Well, it was like third down and Daniels runs. He reminded me of T. Martin when he was at Tennessee in 98. It's coming, and you still have trouble getting a hat on him to stop it, because he's a damn good player too. And their offense is dynamic, and they got great blockers and they got great receivers, and then you just hope you just make a play or two more, which is what happened tonight. So what a great win.
And I mean, if he wasn't taken out of that game like that, who knows what the score would have been. Daniels really is something special.
He is. Could still be playing.
Yeah, and you know what? I really do hope that Daniels is okay, But it is a physical sport, and part of it is knocking that guy out and putting it back up in. That's part of the game, and I guarantee you they're trying to do the same thing to Milroe. The only problem is Milroe is much stronger than Daniels. I mean, he's just much bigger. But I would like to tell you this though. You know what was really interesting about this matchup was last season we thought that we had it figured out at quarterback. We had Bryce Young, our Heisman winning quarterback, and they still had a lot of questions about Jaden Daniels. They weren't sure what they had.
Right.
And then Jaden Daniels figured it out against us. Well, now, my, how the turntables, you know?
Yeah.
Because we weren't sure what we had in Jalen Milroe all season, and now it looks like we figured it out. Well, all season long, what have we been hearing about Daniels? He's leading the Heisman race.
Right.
So it's like a masterpiece to me. It's like a chef's kiss. I love it. You know, and now, how much you want to bet there's going to be people saying, you know, Milroe should be in the Heisman talk?
I mean, a night like this will get you in the picture. Obviously, Bo Nix used to be Auburn's mascot. Now he's the quarterback at Oregon, right? He's having a great year. I love Michael Penix Jr. You guys probably have heard me talk about him. I was on him when he was at Indiana. He's been great at Washington. They had a win against USC in a shootout tonight. You know, so there's guys that are going to win it over him. But the fact that we're even saying right now, you better keep an eye on Milroe. I'm going to tell you this right now. He's got the physical ability. And then I hear that he's got the work ethic, right? And then you see the leadership, which is something that he's developed. I'm not telling you guys that from day one I was on the Milroe bandwagon. I wasn't not on it. I just didn't know what to think, you know? The first person that I talked to that made me feel comfortable about him was Jake Coker on the Elephant in the Room podcast saying, you know what, I like this guy. And he played quarterback and he knows the position. You know, I'm just like, well, you know, why did we bring in Buckner? What's he all about? You know, what about Simpson? I figured it would be Simpson. And what I'm seeing is that this guy progressively is improving week after week after week. And he just took care of two of our biggest rivals in Tennessee and LSU. This was a hard game, Ice. These guys came to town to beat our ass. They thought they were going to beat our ass. I was on a radio station in Louisiana, and they're like, well, you know, everyone here pretty much thinks it's either going to be a close game or LSU is going to blow out Alabama. And I said, let me tell you something. If it's a blowout, it'll be Alabama. LSU wouldn't blow Alabama out even if they won the football game. Look at the scores of all these games that I've been around. The last time LSU blew out Alabama, Nick Saban was on their damn sideline. Okay, so it's not going to be a blowout. But they're good. Like, they're better than I thought they were. That's a team that you just wouldn't want to have to play, you know, because they can score a lot of points. But at the end of the day, watching Milroe play volley, as your boy Gary Danielson talked about it, he's like, it's a tennis match, you know? It's and it was. Like, that was a good point, you know, for Gary. And are we going to see him in the Iron Bowl? I mean, we probably aren't done with Gary yet, but that he made a good point. Honestly, of all the Gary Danielson games, today was one that didn't bother me as bad as some of them do, but
It didn't, except for the one thing. I think he was the one that jinxed Will Reichard.
He put the whammy on him. All right.
Yeah, he did, because you heard that, right? Like, where he's like, this guy's automatic kind of stuff. I'm like, oh no, he didn't just compliment him. Don't do that. Right. Not a kicker.
No. All right. Well, give me one more point, and then let me get to the next call. Great to hear from you, by the way, Iceman.
Oh, man. The only more point I need to give you, Mick, is roll tide.
Roll tide, bro.
That's all. And that's all needs to be said. All right. I'll talk to you later, man. Yeah. You have a good one.
Let's talk next week. And roll tide, my friend. And great to hear from all you guys. We're going to put Nick Saban on. We got the Nick Saban press conference coming up, so we'll have that as well. So, but let's just take one more call because we got Nick Saban, and we'll have that when we're ready for it. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Hey, Mick, this is Adam calling from Georgia. How are you?
Adam from Georgia. Can you send the dogs a message that a big wave is heading their way and they don't want it?
Yeah, I got to deal with a lot of them here, and they're quite confident. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. A couple of weeks ago, right? I went to the doctor, and for the first time in my life, I got diagnosed with high blood pressure, and it's because of this team that's giving me high blood pressure. But I'm still really, really happy. I got to tell you, and it's worth it because what I saw tonight was a very, very tough defense. Okay, I saw great coaching, and in my opinion, I think that Milroe did a very good job, and I think that we could
You
beat
haven't been on the wagon.
any team in.
You got to admit, Adam, you have
What?
not been on the wagon. Did he win you over tonight with what he did? Did he win you over?
Listen, I have an open mind. I give credit where credit's due, and he deserves credit. The guy is fast. He's strong as hell, and he's just a great athlete.
Resilient, man. And he's resilient,
and the defense was physical.
Oh, yeah. He's resilient,
yeah,
too.
He's resilient.
And he works his ass off. I got that from my people on the inside, man. The guy is a worker. Like, he took the job because he worked hard for it. Like, he made it his life to replace Bryce Young. And that's a hard task, man. And he's only a sophomore. I mean, is he perfect? No. But I'll tell you what, dude, the what he did tonight when we needed him, he was the show. It was amazing.
Yeah, and I agree with you, man. And I'll tell you why. He's got the intangibles. He perseveres. He's got the right mindset. He's a team player, great athlete. And I thought our defense was great. Our coaching was great. But here's the thing, and a lot of people might disagree with me. I think, based on this performance, we could beat any team in the country except Georgia.
We can beat
I think Georgia is going to beat us.
No, listen, let me tell you what. Listen,
I don't want to say that here because I don't like living in Georgia.
You're worried about it. What you're worried about, and I'm going to answer this for you. You're going, they're good on defense,
Yep.
But I'm going to tell you right now.
Am I wrong?
No, you're wrong. We would have beat them last year, and we will beat them this year. They're struggling with Missouri. They're struggling with South Carolina, man. We would crush those teams now. We're improving every week. And they don't have we beat them every time. They won the national championship, but remember, we beat their ass in the SEC title game. And if we don't lose Mechie and then Williams, we beat them again. They had one good They had one good quarter against Alabama. And I'm telling you right now that that's not the team you need to worry about. The team you need to worry about is the Oregons and the Washingtons, where you get into one of these games like tonight where they can score, and you just got to keep up with them. And maybe their defense is a little bit better than LSU's defense. Although the problem that LSU had was the secondary. It wasn't the line of scrimmage, even though they got their ass beat there. It wasn't like we were bombing them, which is what we've done. But I promise you, man, you want that matchup. Because when you go to work that next Monday, if Alabama plays Georgia, you're going to walk in there like Kramer when he had the pimp jacket on. Do you remember Seinfeld? That's how you're going to walk into work, because they're going to get their ass kicked.
Yeah.
I promise you, man. I know it. All the little receivers that they have and all that stuff, man. Don't worry about them. Let's get to that.
Well,
but we got some tough games left. We got to take care of Kentucky on the road, and then the Iron Bowl, down there with Auburn Jesus. But that's the matchup you want. Georgia's trying to lose every week. The teams, though, their schedule is as soft as paper. They're not playing LSU. Next week's going to be interesting when they play Ole Miss, but it's at home. Just hope that matchup happens so that we get together right here and celebrate the college football playoff together, because that's where Alabama will be going if they play them. Promise you.
Well, man, I'll tell you, and I'll just take another second. I'll tell you, I hope you're right, and I give credit to Milroe, the defense, the coaches, the wide receivers, and I hope you're right. But my worry is that Georgia's defense has the potential to shut us down, and I hope it doesn't happen. But I'm hopeful like you are, man, and I'm hoping for a natty this year. So thanks for taking my call, and roll Tide.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, you just relax Let's get through these games. Let's get through these games. Let's get through these games. We got Kentucky, 11 a.m. No one likes playing on 11. Then we got Chattanooga. Then we got Auburn. And Auburn beat Vanderbilt today. And Auburn's going to be one of those games where you're going to be like, down there, they're going to get the breaks, and it's going to be loud, and you're going to have to take them out of the game. These guys take care of those things. Georgia's not going to want to play these guys. They're getting better every week, man. They
are, man. I hope
there's more confidence. The receivers are catching the ball. Think about the running backs. The offensive line's not perfect, but it's better every single game. The snaps, but you know what? It's still, everything's improving. The defense in this day and age of football is as good as you're going to get these days. But Georgia, we got the players to match up with Georgia, and we've had to go through the gauntlet, man. These guys, they haven't gone through the gauntlet. I'm just not giving Missouri credit. I just don't think they're a good football team. They're okay, maybe they're good, but they're not great. I don't know.
Well,
so I
hope you're right back, and I got to tell you, man, if we win the national championship, this will be the best coaching that Saban has ever done, and I hope you're right. And roll Tide. Great show as always, man, and great talking to you.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, I think that's exactly what you're going to look at this, and you're going to be like, this is why he's the GOAT. Let's talking about the GOAT though. And Adam, great call, man. Roll Tide, brother. Let's listen to what Nick Saban had to say after the game, and then let's reconvene here all together and kind of just talk about it. But we got to hear what Nick Saban said after the win against his old school, but he loves us more. And let's hear what he had to say. Let's put him on. I'm going to put him up here, and we're going to listen to him. And I think I can't wait to hear what the guy has to say. I'm excited about this.
Who's really hard to contain. But I think our offense did a fantastic job in this game. I'm so proud of our team. It's a great team win, but our offense controlled the tempo of the game, especially in the second half. I think that was the difference in the game, having over 500 yards of offense. But the key to it was being 11 of 14 on third down and being able to keep the ball, which kept it away from them, which was a real key. But this is probably as close to a complete game, even though, you can say, wow, they had some really good plays. Yeah, they did. They got some really good players. But our guys fought. They competed. I'm really proud of them. Probably as close to a complete game as we played, all year. And we needed to play a game like that. But the whole idea going into the game was just keep playing the next play, just focus on the next play, be in the moment. And I thought they did a wonderful job of that. Even when we got ahead by 14 points, we controlled, took a lot, 7 minutes off the clock, got back out on defense and got them stopped. So really great win for us. And, this team has created an opportunity where now they got to make a choice. We've had 2 big games in a row here and still got 2 SEC games left and another game. So you're going to make a choice about taking care of business or continue to take care of business in the future because we can create an opportunity for ourselves and maybe win the West and, maybe get in the SEC championship game, and who knows what happens from there.
Start with Nick Kelly. Yeah, 279 yards on the ground, 6 rushing touchdowns. What worked so well in the rushing game tonight?
Well, the offensive line did a fantastic job. They got really good movement. The backs really pressed the holes and did a really good job. I think we had a really good plan to run the ball and get the ball in the perimeter, some with Jalen, some with some other guys. And the combination of those things, I think, helps your inside running game as well. But it all came down to execution, and I thought this was the best execution we had from an efficiency standpoint in the run game, all year.
John, right with Dennis.
Nick, considering where you guys were after Texas uncertainty at quarterback, I think a really a loss maybe since you've been here. How much credit do you give yourself? Is this one of your favorite coaching jobs to get to this point?
I think the credit goes to the coaching staff and the players and This group of guys have shown tremendous resiliency to keep working to improve. I think they trust the coaches. They respect, what we're trying to do to help them be better players. And, it's resulted in a team that has consistently improved throughout the year. And, we just got to try to keep doing that. We got a lot of guys nicked up today, but, hopefully it'll be an opportunity for somebody else to step up.
Charlie, we'll stay over there.
Speaking of those nicked up guys, do you have an update on Deontay Lawson and Jalen Key?
One guy has an ankle, one guy's got a quad. I don't know how bad the injuries are until they, do MRIs and all that kind of stuff. But so I can't tell you more than that.
Back on the left, Scott.
Nick, it looks like he's improvised runs, Jalen, and then he's had some predetermined runs that kind of grown as the year goes. He's really an elite runner. Is that been the case?
Yes. Some of the pass plays, we did run one quarterback draw, but some of them are just getting him to step up in the pocket. And then, if it opens up, he has the option to run or throw. And we do have some quarterback runs on the perimeter that he did a nice job of executing, and we did a nice job of blocking on the perimeter. So it's a combination of both. But I think the fact that we do that, just like if you look at it from the other perspective, because their quarterback's such a good runner on the perimeter, we're playing stuff to try to make sure we got enough guys to take care of him. And they hit a post on us, and we bust in the back end worrying about him running the ball. The first touchdown that they scored. So it creates some issues for you on defense, and hopefully we can keep building on that.
Ryan?
Yeah, this looked like it was a shootout back and forth with the quarterbacks, but what was the message? Looked like third quarter, you guys made the stop. How big was that? What was the message to your team to get that stop?
Well, I think that when you're playing in a game like this, you got to encourage the defensive players to keep playing. And I think the thing that got us when he ran for, 160 some yards, and most of those were on pass plays. It wasn't like they were designed quarterback runs. We had spies on him. Spy couldn't get him on the ground. We rushed 4 guys. So the best success we had was actually rushing 5. Kept him in the pocket, pressed him up a little bit. But, the message was we told him at halftime we got to be a little more aggressive. We're going to have to play man-to-man. We're going to have to push the pocket on the guy. So, and we did a pretty good job of that. And, of course, Dallas getting a tip ball and getting the interception, was huge in the game. And that's how you got to play. But the last 4 times they had the ball, we got stops on defense, which was, huge when the score is 28-28. But the offense did a great job of controlling it, so they didn't get it back very much.
Blake?
Nick, where have you seen Jalen grow these last 2 months, and what's next for his progression?
Well, it's obvious that the guy is much more comfortable as a passer. He's reading things more quickly, getting the ball to the right guy. He's making really good decisions when he has to improvise. And those things we want to continue to help him grow and develop. But I think he's learned to play the next play. I think that, early in the year, he would get frustrated if he made a bad throw or whatever. And, now he's learning to play the next play. And that's what I told the players, before we played the game. I said, you got to keep playing the next play. You got to be in the moment, because the next play may be the play that is the difference in the game when you play games like this. So you can't worry about what happened on the last play, whether it was good or bad or whatever. And, he's bought into that, and I think that's helped him be more consistent.
Johnny, go back.
Hey, Coach, they got the double score end of half, and then they started the third quarter. They ended up scoring. The resiliency of your defense to have the mental toughness to overcome that and then get those 4 final stops to finish the game. What does that speak about the leadership in that group?
Well, I think that the defensive players did a great job of responding after those 2 drives, which we didn't play very well in. But if we'd have just tackled the guy, we missed the tackle, with 12, 13 seconds to go, the clock probably would have ran out. Or maybe they could have kicked a field goal. I don't know. But, guy goes for the strip on the guy and misses a tackle, and the guy runs for a touchdown. So those are all things that we can learn from. But I think that our team has showed tremendous resiliency all year long. And they've always been able to make plays in the critical time of the game when they need to make them. and get stops at A&M. Played really good in the second half against Ole Miss. Came back against Tennessee, got a lot of stops. So, this is because of leadership, but it's because of the competitive spirit of the group as well.
Coach, you've been imploring fans to be the difference maker in these games, and tonight they broke the decibel record with 113 after Terrion's interception. What can you say about their impact tonight?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Just the impact of the fans.
Oh, the fans are great. I mean, it was great. I mean, the atmosphere was great. It cost them some penalties in critical times in the game, which gave us a favorable down and distance, which helped us on defense tremendously. But the atmosphere in the stadium in the last two games, I don't think you could ever ask for more. And I certainly thank the fans for it. I asked them to do it. They responded really well. They played for 60 minutes, just like our players, and God love them for it.
Finish right here with time.
You mentioned the push that the offensive line got in the running game, but they only allowed one sack in the passing game. Just how much improvement did you see from them today?
Yeah, well, we've done some things protection-wise to try to protect the tackles a little bit. I think the fact that we've got Jalen stepping up in the pocket helps the tackles a little bit so they can push guys by. But I did think we did a really good job in pass protection, which, that's the key to the drill. Is give the quarterback time to make the kind of decisions he can make. And, when the guy's got running ability, it's even more that way because the defense gets stretched out. They got to play scrambles. If you take off running, it's hard to get the guy on the ground, which we certainly got some experience on that tonight, too.
All right. Thanks, Coach. That's all we got.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, there he is right there. Coach Nick Saban talking about Alabama's win over LSU. We're going to get back to the phone lines, but I got to start right here, man. Dino Vine, I absolutely love you, man. $100 super chat. I don't come on here and ask you guys to do the super chats, but, man, I appreciate it so much, man. Thank you. Milroe for Heisman. He said, I'm glad you're doing your thing. You're the voice of Alabama football for me, man. This is for you, man. This toast for you and for all you guys that came over here. And I've said it before. I didn't know that we were going to do our own channel. I kind of thought I'd end up somewhere else, and then it didn't work out. And, I love all those guys, man. All the different people that I've worked with in this business, CTSN, SEC Network, Rivals and On3 and Bama Insider, all of them, man. I've had such a good time doing this. Now I'm with, my own thing and then Disrupt the Media and Roll Tide Pods. My whole thing has always been, if we're having fun, it's worth it for me. If I'm having fun, if we're, like we get together, Jake Coker, Ryan Anderson, we get in here and guys, the show ends and we sit around and talk like another hour, drink beer, hang out, like, and you guys are part of it. And then, we're only allowed an hour, we always go over that, cause it's fun. And that's kind of been the philosophy that I've had, and I've worked for some people that I haven't liked, some radio stations where you feel like you're not treated well. And so I love you guys. Dino Vine, thank you, man. It goes a long way to just doing all of this stuff. And roll motherfucking Tide. RMFT. All right, I'm going to leave that up there. I'm going to the calls right now, and I'm going to start with a guy who comes from Nashville, Tennessee, Heath Haley. What's up, Meat?
Not much, brother. Roll motherfucking Tide.
Roll motherfucking Tide, man. What'd you think of this one?
I think we've got a bunch of previously cats that are turning into dogs. I loved what I saw from number 4. Our offensive line stepped up.
Let's start there. Let's just let me cut it up like you're making a point, and I got to start there. Jalen Milroe, and you remember this, he had that Sean Alexander down in Baton Rouge 96 performance against the Tigers. I mean, dude, this is the number 14 team in the country. Honestly, it's been the biggest game that we've played rivalry wise in the last 20 years.
Yep.
And for this guy to have that performance against them, it's pretty damn big, man. 4 rushing touchdowns, and they couldn't stop him.
Well, he didn't stop himself either. There was that one time I believe it was the second quarter where he could have ran in for a touchdown, and he sailed that ball.
Right.
I can't remember the receiver.
Right.
It was too. And I was a little frustrated with him then, but after that, man, he seemed to make all the right decisions. He's taking advice from previous great quarterbacks, and I've told you this personally when we've talked and chatted that the show that you do with Coker and now adding Ryan in there, Coker's my guy. Like, he is my favorite quarterback in the Coach Saban era. And I know people say, wow, why is that? What about Tua and Jalen? I love those guys. They're numbered, 1A and 1B or 2A and 2B, whatever. But Coker is the adversity that he had to come from, and being a lifelong Bama fan and just the journey that he took and how he had to take that team over. Everybody's been talking about the similarities to the, what was it, a 15 team, right?
Yeah.
Or 13.
No, it's 15. Yeah. He loves Milroe because he likes that physicality. You remember him running over guys?
Dude, he took that, I think it was the Tennessee game that Coker was playing, and he just trucked that dude into the end zone. And it's like, look, this is my team. I'm taking it. And I feel like Milroe is done the same, and he, just like today when he put number 4 on his back when he came in to try to, and those LSU guys are going to do their LSU stuff, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, Bama elevated their game. The defense, they obviously they bent a little bit in the first half. I mean, number 5.
Well, they're good.
Special.
Fuck, they're good, man. That's a good damn team.
They're damn good.
That offense was number 1 in the country, and it's for a reason. Like Neighbors and the other guy and the quarterback. You're not running into an offense better. You might run into one that's as good, but they're
equal.
They're a good football team. They're coached. They don't have a guy that you don't understand, growling on the sideline. Brian Kelly is, in my mind, is a legitimately good coach, man.
Agreed 100%. And as much as I don't necessarily like him per se, I've grown. He's grown on me since he's come into the SEC. After he kind of got, the little snafus trying to talk Southern and all that stuff. But I really think the guy.
I didn't say he was cool. I said he can coach football.
Yeah, no, well said. No, I agree, and he can coach football.
Coach it.
I think for me, I felt like the offensive. Well, I want to finish a couple more things with number 4. The thing with number 4 to me too is Milroe's just a good dude, man. He's a good kid. He's got, the whole family acronym that he told that he brought from his high school in Katy, and what he's doing out there from a leadership standpoint. That's the same thing Coker did. He took the team on his back, and I've said from the beginning, I felt like we had the talent to win the national championship. We do every year pretty much since Coach Saban's been there. Whether they execute or not is up for debate. The games still have to be played. But what I've seen the last few weeks from this team has given me a lot of confidence, and Milroe can win a Heisman. The dude's a phenomenal athlete.
You're the second person to
he's
say
reading
that.
defenses better.
Second one to say that.
I know.
Today.
And it's not a stretch. I mean, look at the field out there. Nobody's really, separating themselves. This was an opportunity for the kid from LSU to separate himself, and he didn't. He got knocked out of the game, and I'll take that penalty every day and twice on Sunday from number 15.
That wasn't even a penalty until like 3 years ago. I mean,
it wasn't.
That's not a cheap shot. I don't care what anybody
That's a
says.
whole, yeah.
It's just not.
That's a whole nother story. We can talk about that. But at the end of the day, within the rules that we have today, they called it a penalty, but that's a football play. That's a grown man football play. And what happened happened. And again, that to me, there's usually 3 or 4 pivotal plays in a game, and that was definitely one of them, maybe the biggest one. And again, I'm glad to see what number 4 has done, and then the offensive line, the defense. There's just so many positives to talk about. Other than, of course, you talked about it with the other caller earlier with Reichard. Unfortunately, really just
one bad game.
I think he called. And he's a kicker, so I love kickers and all, but at the end of the day, it's about the guys in the trenches. I would like a little more pressure from our front 4, or front 3, or hell, front 7 in general. But they just kept grinding, and the result was what I expected. I didn't expect that many points to be. That's why I stayed away from the total. But I did take the Tide. I had to, I just had that feeling.
I had them 44-20. My buddy Striker Strong was sending. We were texting last night. That was my score. I figured, but I didn't think it was going to be this kind of game. I thought Alabama would just beat them and they'd score some points. But this was. It turned out I was pretty close to it, but I didn't think that it was going to be. They were making me nervous, man. They could score. They were moving the football down the field. Every time they would get into trouble, Daniels would just haul ass. I mean, they're good,
that
man.
Kid's a stud,
can
man.
run, man. The guy can run. It was like Derrick Henry for Alabama running, and they had Forrest Gump. Both guys could run, It looked like he was like the guys were throwing stones at him. And he was running. He was trying to get away from that pickup truck. Daniels is good. He won me over, man. I think he's a damn good player. I like him a lot.
Agreed on all points. And he did win me over. And he's a good kid. And his uncle calls in to find bond him, and he's got a good family unit around him. And he's not the athlete that number 4 is.
No.
Number 4 is a beast.
But
he's a baby beast.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. He's just the potential. If Milroe, which he will, come back next year, I'm already thinking next year. I mean, this year, I agree with what you said. I don't think Georgia has.
They don't want us, dude.
They're not dominant.
They don't want us.
They're just not. They don't. They think they do.
They'll find out.
But they don't. And luckily, we get to play the games. Like you said, if we can sneak past this Kentucky team up in Lexington, which is one of my favorite places to go in the SEC. I cover that in my sales territory now with my company, and I'm up there all the time. It's just a great atmosphere, a lot of great people up there, and get past that, and of course, we always have the voodoo game down on the plane at Jordan Hare, and I feel really good after tonight's game, as all Bama fans should. There's a lot of positives. And like Coach Saban said in his presser, this is the most complete game that this team has played all year. We got some stuff to obviously clean up, more so I think on the defensive side of the ball. But ultimately, the better team ended up winning tonight.
Yeah, great points, brother. Roll Tide, man. I'm going to jump to the next call. Great to hear your voice. And let's talk after Kentucky. Let's talk after Kentucky. See where we are. I'm not even ready to get there yet. Roll damn Tide. I'm not ready to get there yet, but we just got it. We got to move on.
I hear you.
Yeah, great call, man. That's Heath from Nashville. All right, let's bring him on. I know he's coming back from the game right now. He's got Mudcat somewhere close by. He's got Baby Cat in the ride with him. And Dino Vine just hit us with another $100 super chat. Roll Tide. Thank you, brother. Chad Anderson. What's up, dude? I told you, Chad. I told you, watch out for the run, didn't I? Didn't I?
I do it. I said yesterday, I thought Alabama would run the ball 70% of the time tonight, and they ran it 67%. I think they had 69 total plays, 46 of them were runs. What a night. You're right. I've been listening to some other callers. They didn't control the clock as much as I thought they would. They ended up doing that in the second half. So 2 things I want to hit on that I just noticed that really stood out. Really 3 things. One, Terrion Arnold's a badass.
Yeah.
For all the grief I gave that guy last year,
Shame on you for that. Shame on you for that, Chad. He was a freshman last year.
No, he deserved it last year. He deserved it last year.
He's been coached under the GOAT, though.
But if he did, he's been coached under the GOAT. You're right. And I don't know. I haven't seen the stats yet. The individual stats, so I don't know if he was the standout statistically on defense. And I know he had the pick that was tipped by Turner, but Arnold was just simply making plays tonight. He had the PBUs. He was always there in coverage. He was there to make a couple of tackles. He was just the guy tonight. It was great.
Yeah,
but
5 tackles, 4 solo, and 2 PDs. So not too shabby.
Not at all. Not at all. The other 2 things. One, Milroe. You were right on the hammy. It was obvious tonight. He had a different burst, different speed.
Different cat.
4 touchdowns.
Different cat. Catfish. Different cat.
First time an Alabama quarterback has ever rushed for 4 touchdowns in a game. So props to Milroe. And here's what's great about Milroe. I don't want everybody to get all, damn pissed off at me for saying this, but here's the encouraging part about Milroe. I mean, not that everybody's encouraged now anyway, but he didn't have his deep ball tonight. He didn't have the touch tonight. He
didn't have the time. He didn't have the time though in there. Like the pocket kept closing in on him.
When he did, that's true. But even when he did,
you're right.
And then missing Bond wide open.
Yeah.
At the 5,
can't argue. There.
He wasn't as good. Yeah, he wasn't as good throwing tonight as he's been. But his decision making and his ability to run and maneuver and be elusive and be the Milroe we all know that he could be, like all he did. That's why I'm saying I'm not knocking him, because he just transformed into the other part of his game tonight that he hasn't been able to for the last month, because it's obvious that he has been a little banged up or a little slow or gimpy or whatever you want to call it. So that was huge, in the fact that Alabama can win a big game against a big rival in a primetime slot. With him doing that is huge for the final 3, maybe 4 weeks of the season. But the one thing that I don't think we've talked enough about, and it's come up, but I don't think we've talked enough about it. These damn coaches, man, I am so happy to have them, and the way that they are.
Creativity on offense, brother. Creativity on offense. It was like, hey, where the hell was this last year? We got I loved it, man. I know exactly what you're saying.
I do too, but I'm just talking about second half adjustments, period.
Well, like, Kevin Steele does Alabama it too on defense, man. But the offense was doing shit. It was like, oh, okay, we're going to put 3 guys. Oh, no, we're not. We just gave you that look. Now we're coming right back to the line of scrimmage. What are we doing? Yeah. And then we're going to just bust off a 15-yard run on your ass,
Think about this at home. Alabama has played the last or 3 of the last 4 home games have been against Ole Miss, Tennessee, and LSU, and those 3 teams have combined for 10 points in the second half.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. Those 3 teams and those 3 offenses, Lane Kiffin, Josh Heupel, Brian Kelly, Jackson Dart, Joe Milton, Jaden Daniels, 10 points combined in the second half against Alabama.
How about Dallas Turner with the pop and the interception, the pressure? They couldn't catch him, man. It was like watching the original Rocky movie when he's trying to catch the chicken, like he's learning how to fight and he's got to try to catch it. It's greased and he can't get his hands on it. Daniels is, elusive, man. And I said this, and we just talked about it with the last caller, Meathead, you know him. You got to like that guy. I mean, that's a damn good ball player, man. Damn good ball player.
I was unbelievably impressed with what he was able to do tonight. Like, really, really impressed with what he was able to do. I was trying to think back. I don't think I actually ever saw Johnny Manziel play in person.
Oh, I was on the 5-yard line when down there when we lost to them.
Were you okay? Well,
he wasn't as good as this guy. I mean, he was lucky. This guy's good.
Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking about quarterbacks I've seen in the past in person and being able to run, and I've seen some guys and some runners. I mean, we've watched Cam Newton and Tim Tebow and Johnny Manziel on TV for me, and watch Deshaun Watson. I'm sure there are others, that I'm just not naming. Dak Prescott.
Yeah, he was good.
I haven't seen the cat move around the field like that guy did tonight.
Let me get.
And the thing was, Alabama knew it was coming.
Yeah, no, you couldn't stop it. You can't stop it. It was even the defense. He's just really tough to stop. All right, Jim Danny on the comment section. Corn dogs are crying over the hit that Daniels took. He's talking about Dallas Turner. Got a 15-yard penalty. I said with Heath, our last caller, it's a football play. It wouldn't even have been a penalty 5 years ago, and it wasn't like a cheap shot or anything like that. Your thoughts on that?
Hell no, it wasn't a cheap shot. He didn't even drop his body weight on him. He intentionally tried to roll, and he didn't even force all his body weight on top of him. If you're complaining about that hit, you're a bitch.
Well, I mean, and it's because they talk all their shit, which is what they're famous for. It's a different type shit talk that you get from LSU than Tennessee, because they'll talk shit to you. Like we had the guy on the show last night and then give us $20. So it's like, all right, well, you and I talked about it last night. We're driving in. They're banging on the limousine window when we're coming from Harrah's to the game, back in 06. And some guy, he's just yelling in the limo, and then he hands me his drink, and it's just concoction, and I drank it. They're fun. They're just a different breed, man. There's no place in the country like Louisiana. And you and I have been through there before. And you and I both know, it's its own world. It's fun, but it's a lot like the place you go if you don't live life good on earth. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's its own place. And, we've had some good times there. They're fun, and they're passionate about their football. And they're looking for excuses right now. They're digging for excuses because they had the fluke win last year, and it was a fluke win. And then this year, it was just another Alabama game. And guess what, LSU fans, Scooter from LSU. And you know what, Chad, you talk. I'm going to put some of these comments up here from this week because I saved them, and we didn't rush the field. So you talk, you entertain with your thoughts, and let me pull these up because I'm so glad that we get to do this.
Well, there were some doozies. I said on our show from Innisfree, which is such a hell of a time, by the way. If on Friday nights for home games, if you're in town, you should be coming by the Free, because it is a damn blast hanging out there for a few hours every Friday home game. But I go back and I was thinking about it, and Alabama said if LSU doesn't score 30 or if Bama scores 40, Alabama's going to win this ball game.
Right.
And Alabama held LSU to under 30. It was the second lowest total of the season for Alabama, or for LSU to be held down to. Florida State held LSU to 24 in that first week in Orlando. I thought the score would be a little bit tighter. My prediction was 38-34 Alabama, and the Tide ended up pulling away a little bit further there in the second half. But, this game was very interesting because it was a mix of the old school Saban from 2008 through 2013, and then a mixture of new school Saban
right
of 2014 through 2021, 22, because this team could score if they needed to, But then you saw them in the second half, Mick, flip that switch and give them the elixir.
They gave him the elixir. Tell them everybody what the elixir is, please, for me. The medicine.
So you can, yeah, sure. So you can get on board with our slang here, our lingo. So back in the day, when Alabama
Mark Ingram days
had Mark Ingram and John Parker Wilson and Greg McElroy and Julio and Trent Richardson, you know, and the great tight ends, Colin Peake and Brad Smelly and Preston Tile and the offensive line guys, you know, just they were just mean and they just bully you. And it would be the game where you look up and Alabama is winning by 17 and they're doing it with 15 play drives, or they're ahead by 7 and they need to put the game away. And we talk about giving them the medicine, which is basically you just go up there and whip their ass at the line of scrimmage. You just start ramming it down their throat.
Right. They
and
can't
Bama
do anything
do
about it.
They would do it.
Yeah.
14, 15, 16, 17 plays.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a helpless feeling for the defense.
Like LSU
because
felt
there's
tonight.
nothing you can do to stop it.
Right.
And that's what Bama did tonight. Like when they needed to score, they could move the ball. No problem. But then in that fourth quarter, we talked about this, that in the Tennessee game, Bama had a 15-play drive that resulted in 3 points in the second half. And Bama needed to do that to keep LSU's offense off the field. Well, they did that in the fourth quarter. They took the ball over with just over 11 minutes, had a 7-minute drive. I don't know how many plays it was. A 7-minute drive. I think the earth got off its axis a little bit, and that's why Reichard pushed the field goal to the right.
How far were those? They look pretty far on TV, but
correctly.
Were you worried about them, or
Yeah.
did they look like they were extra far today?
I couldn't tell, to be honest. I was at the end zone where he missed the first one, but I was on like the sideline, but in the end zone, you know, like
yeah. Were you cussing?
If the end zone had hash marks. No,
you didn't cuss him.
More just in disbelief. No, Will Reichard doesn't get cussed. Okay, he's not.
The funny thing is, like Saban just like tapped him on the back, like, all right, you know, sorry, buddy, we'll get him next time, kid. You know, because he's earned that.
Well, yeah, you don't yell at Babe Ruth when he strikes out.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, it just doesn't. You know, it's not what you do. So, yeah, I mean. But I heard you say it earlier. It is true. Honestly, get it out of your system. Thank God he did it tonight when Bama didn't need it in the end.
Right.
But yeah, I'm more looking at what's going to be the deal, you know, in a few weeks. I hope this was just a one-night yips, because shit, House of Horrors down in the, you know, West Georgia. You need any and every break and bounce and everything you can do to make sure that things go well in that game. So hopefully he got it out of it.
Well, I'm going to let you be here for this. All right. I'm going to pull up some of these. This is the shit talk that the LSU fans sent our way this week. All right. I didn't get all of them, but I got some of them. Chad, I'm going to let you jump in. You guys in the comments section, feel free to tell us what you think, because this is what our friends from Baton Rouge said to us. All right. Here's the first one. Got it up on the screen right now, Chad. And
he kept the receipt.
Oh, yeah, as Dion says. This is Kane870. He said, LSU by 10 points. Write it down. You lost by 14.
Wrong. I don't know what else to say. You're just wrong. You're
wrong.
It was never going to be LSU by 10 points. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I'm going to take that one off.
Hope he didn't do it in permanent marker.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So that one's out. All right. Here's another one. This is a whole flurry of those guys hitting us up. And I appreciate them, because there came a point where I'm like, oh, this is going to be great content. Like, we're going to be able to talk about this, you know, because
Absolutely.
this is how many times have we been through this? Hey, did you run out on the field after the win today?
I didn't. I
Did
ran
you tear
down
the
spiral
goalpost
and into
down?
my truck.
Did you try to like attack Alabama players? Oh no, you didn't. All right, here. All right, let me go through these. All right. Here, this one's from Titus Showers 8988. The aforementioned dual quarterback can't run like Daniels. JD5 is an elite runner with capital great arm and O-line. Bama is in for a treat. It's the wrong spelling of go. Geaux, Tigers. All right. The thing about it, and I love that JD5, because JM4 scored 4 touchdowns on the ground. And what did I tell him all week? That Jalen Milroe is the better runner. Even though I said Daniels was good, I said he was better. All right, so that's from him. Here's
You know one of my favorite plays of tonight, Mick?
What's that?
Favorite play, one of my favorite tonight was not his touchdown run. It was when he lowered his shoulder and
just
probably
popped that
concussed
guy?
the poor quarterback over on their sideline.
All right, here you're gonna love
That
this
guy's
one.
still singing gumbo.
Yeah, he left. Yeah. He left. He was out. He played one more play, and then he was like, all right, yeah, let's get ready for who's up next for them. Texas A&M or something. All right. J. Smith, 77-25. LSU fixing to come bust that ass. And Alabama has no idea what they're getting ready to get into. FSU handled that ass. No one else in college football have held them under 25 points in a game. Alabama will not do that. LSU beat them. Well, they did. You know what? He was right. We didn't hold them to 25 points. I got to give him that. It was 28.
He didn't hold him to 25.
Yeah.
He was right about one thing. Yeah.
But that's not it.
He was wrong about Alabama getting into that ass.
But when they all get together, they just can't stop, like then the next guy jumps in and then they start convincing themselves like, oh, we got this, because Harlem 139 Convent 1 jumped in and he said, not going to stop Daniels. Better hope Bama's run game shows up and limit LSU's possessions. Bama has to score at least 38, 40 points. You know what? You're right. What did we get? 42. And what did they get?
42.
And what did they get? What did they get, Cat?
28.
They got 28.
28, Cat.
And the thing about it is like, I mean, there's been guys, on the YouTube channel, and God bless them for coming to the YouTube channel. The Bama Tailgate YouTube channel welcomes all shit talkers. I love it. Bring it on, because it's fun. It honestly is. But it also gives us, as you call it, and Deion Sanders says it too, it gives us the receipts. Like some of them pop up and I'm just like this. I'm like a praying mantis. I put my two hands together and I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. But, dude, I just can't. Is this a Daniel Moore print? Is this a Daniel Moore print game? I don't know if it is at New Life Art. I know that if you guys go there to New Life Art and you pimp your man cave out, use the code Bama Tailgate, you get 10% off. Right now, the new Crimson Tradition is just fantastic, man. That thing is so cool.
I love that print. Yeah, that one is beautiful. But Mick, I love New Life Art. I think Daniel would be impressed with my collection like yours if he saw it at my house, because I'm just obsessed with a lot of their stuff. But I think poor Daniel would have carpal tunnel or arthritis as busy as you would keep him on some of these Daniel Moore moments. Like you
Let's
love
do
the
another
Daniel
one.
Moore moments.
I know, man. Do you remember when we were in school and we sucked and there was never a new Daniel Moore print? Like you would go to like, I don't know, City Cafe or the Waysider or 15th Street Diner, and they'd have like, oh man, look, they've got like, and it's from like, Bear Bryant getting carried off the field, or like winning, the 92 championship game. And, we didn't, and who knew we would be friends with like Jay Barker and those guys back then. We're just like eating our like meat and three, wondering like, what would it be like? And then we got the Pro Throw print and Rocky Block. And then Saban showed up. And I mean, Daniel Moore has carpal tunnel trying to paint all this shit.
Yeah. If you think about it, you're right. I mean, we used to get Daniel Moores for regular season games. Now it's championships. But seriously, like you get Daniel Moore prints for, beating Florida in the swamp and beating
they used to
Tennessee
be good
and Neyland and beating Auburn. Just winning the Iron Bowl would get you a Daniel Moore, and now no, you got to win championships now.
Yeah.
Although I forgot who said it. Was a meathead?
TP Roll Tide. What's up?
Milroe could actually.
You're right.
He's far from a leader in it, but he can get in the Heisman discussion.
Yeah.
Like, as crazy as that sounds, because nobody's running away with it.
Well,
and
you're the third straight person to say that, dude. And I'm with you. But the problem is that Bo Nix, who was like, to me, there was Albie, which, if you don't know, is the Tigers mascot down at Auburn, where his dad went and he went, and then they effed it up so bad the guy left. And he had to change his face because it was like the Auburn Tiger. And he's having a hell of a year at Oregon. And then Michael Penix Jr. at Washington is having a hell of a year too. So it's going to be hard for him to bounce in there. But you know what, man? He could get an invite. I mean, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility.
What I mean. Yeah.
That's more what I mean. He's far from a front runner. I'm just saying he could get in that conversation. Is all. A ton of things would have to go his way, but I just think he could get in the conversation.
Clyde's saying, don't jump on that Milroe bandwagon now. Y'all was dogging him when you were saying that Simpson should start. And then he's talking about Simpson transferring and Michael Vick type talent. That isn't me. That isn't directed at me. I just didn't know. I don't care who starts. I just want to win. I want to win this one. I want to win the next one. I want to win the one after that. And let me tell you something, Chad. The one down on the Plains, I want to win. Okay?
Thanks.
Can't lose that one.
I mean, that one is it's the Black Magic games.
They get a lot of breaks there, but this could be the year where we go down there and just give them a good old country ass whooping.
I mean, think about it, Mick. I go back and think about those games down there. I mean, yeah, 2021, it took 4 overtimes to beat TJ Finley.
I know.
4 overtimes.
Dude, I know, but the problem was we got Williams got knocked out of the game for the penalty, and it was just, but you're right. It's always bad luck there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Terrible luck. 4 overtimes. The one before that, Mac Jones and Jalen Waddle went off, but Mac had to make his first career start down there. And you had goofy stuff during that game. Then 17, Alabama got their ass kicked in the Iron Bowl that didn't matter because they won the national championship.
Yeah.
2015 was pretty decent. But even that one stayed close.
Look, 2015
kind of pulled them away at the end.
The 2015 I went with to the game with your friend and my acquaintance Ben, and he had his head in his lap at halftime because Bama was down. And I'm like, man, I never was worried about that. We had that guy named Derrick Henry. And then Henry ran over them in the second half. It was like a battering ram.
Yeah, he
all
did.
right, let me pull up some more of these comments. Blaine who's on the comments right now, is coming at you pretty hard. He said Milroe's QBR against 10 was 68.5 with 2 touchdowns, an interception, 3 rushing yards. I wouldn't call that great. And then he came back at you again, Chad, and he said Milroe's QBR against Ole Miss was 67.1 with a touchdown and interception, 28 rushing yards. I wouldn't call that great either. Bama fans and Chad Anderson living in La La Land thinking he's a great quarterback after this game. What would you say to Blaine?
So we're determining greatness simply on QBR.
Well, the guy was hurt. He was hurt too, and he figuring it out, right?
I just don't understand the argument, I guess, on that. Like, he was great tonight, and he's performed well quite a bit this year. So, again, not the Heisman frontrunner, not the Heisman winner. He has a chance to put himself in the discussion. So if you like taking something like that and running with it as he's not even a top 5 quarterback right now in the country. I don't know that he's top 10 in the country. I think he is in the top 10 in Heisman odds.
Right.
But if you look at him, he's improved every single week. Developed as a passer. Hasn't really turned the ball over. Dual threat. Outperformed Jaden Daniels tonight. Everybody wants to talk about Jaden Daniels being a damn Heisman Trophy winner, and I know it's just one game, but did he not outperform Daniels?
He did.
Had the same passing yard.
Yeah.
Had the same 6 yards short of him on rushing, and he had more touchdowns and didn't have a pick. So I'd say he outperformed Jaden Daniels.
Ross says, roll tide roll, big win for Bama on here. Taylor Presley, who's actually he's actually a huge Ole Miss fan. I know it hurt him a little bit because they needed this one, but they play Georgia next week. He said, roll tide roll. He's on here. Iceman. He said, let's hear Chad's MVPs for tonight. And Ice, you're exactly right. It's time to give out the game balls, bro. We got to give them out.
It's pretty easy tonight. I'll just bang my 3 out real quick, and one of them will be for Blaine with a little emoji kiss. Jalen Milroe on offense, that's obvious. 4 touchdowns, first Bama quarterback to ever rush for 4 in a game. Made good decisions, escaped out of the pocket, didn't turn the ball over. Hell of a night for Jalen. So he's the guy on offense. Terrion Arnold, the guy on defense for me. I mentioned that earlier. Just was all over the place. Solo tackles tonight. I think you said 4, Mick. He had the pick, which I know was set up by Turner, but Arnold was just all over the field covering ground tonight. So props to him. And then on special teams, I guess we're going Burnham. Because did he even punt? We'll just go with Burnham on the holds were great. It was the kicks.
Yeah.
So maybe Burnham gets it tonight just for holding the ball.
Yeah. Well, you're forgetting Kool-Aid. He didn't run out of the way on the punts today.
All right.
He ran in and Kool-Aid ran in and caught him.
The punts and didn't up.
And he didn't get burned on defense, what he never does there. He's my special teams. I mean, how do you not give it to Milroe? I mean, because you took Milroe. I mean, if I got to give it to another guy, it's hard to say, who you would give it to, because it was just such a big game for Milroe. So if it's not him, I'm giving it to Isaiah Bond, man. 5 catches, 60 yards, the go-to guy. Like, he's becoming the go-to guy. Got great hands. The entire wide receiver crew, man, just catching the ball. If you throw it in their vicinity, they catch it. That wasn't the case last year. It's amazing Alabama had the season they did with all the drops. But these guys, they got the catch going on. And on defense, people might not like this if you got that, that yellow and purple. But it's Dallas Turner, man. He had the tip. He's in the backfield. I know he hit Daniels a little bit too hard. He stuck him and knocked him out of the game. Hopefully Daniels is all right, man. I hated seeing him leave the field. I don't want to see anyone get hurt. But Dallas Turner, was just and caught him on another run too. You remember the one where he's running and finally somebody got him? It was him. Those guys never quit on defense. And Gerald puts this up, and I'm going to put it up for you too, Chad. How about the second half Bama D? 7 points, only 140 yards. Yeah. And the offense played 60 minutes. And you're right on both accounts, my friend. You're right on both. And then that's it, man. Those are my picks. Where are you at right now? I think I lost you. Did I lose you, Chad? It's probably back at his hotel. All right, let's see if I'm going to try one more. Who's this and where are you calling from? Try this. See if this shakes it up. Kat, is that you? All right, well, lost him. Part of that, it's part of the process of doing the show. All right, well, I'm not ready to go yet. If you guys aren't, you guys want to sit here and talk some more football, I'm cool with that. There's 120 of you guys on there. Make sure you give us 120 thumbs up as we hang out and talk Alabama football. I mean, I didn't really get a chance to kind of go over my thoughts on the game because you get into this and it's like hot and heavy and we get into talking about everything that happened. Comment section, you guys throw up some stuff that you want to talk about in there. Oh yeah. Here, I'm so glad that B Puck, you said this. Bama's not ready for Georgia. Look, you better hope that you don't see us because we're going to make you cry like we do every single time we played you, except the one time when everybody got hurt. And I know you're going, oh, what do these guys know? Just trust me. We want to play you guys. Everybody else is like, oh, we don't want to play. Look, we can't wait. We can't get there fast enough. It's all the trash that we got to go to get to you. And the only reason you guys won last year is because the committee kept us out because we had 2 last-minute losses. You didn't want to play Alabama. I mean, come on, dude. I was at the blackout. I was there when in 2015 in that big rain game. I've seen you in 2017 with Tua, the SEC championship game before you won your championship. And we all pull for you when we're not there. We do. We like Kirby. But you don't want any of this. And I hope that you get it. I hope that you get this. I really do. Because it would be great. We would love it. But you guys just and we need you to keep winning. Just in case it's close. Because when we see you in Atlanta and you don't win the SEC championship again, we get into the championship game. We don't need you losing. You're sitting around playing with Missouri and kind of keeping them in the game. We need you to win those games. We're pulling for you every week. Take care of Ole Miss next week. We want you to win that. But we want to see you guys. Trust me. We got to take care of Kentucky. We got Chattanooga. That's like a practice game. Then we got to go down and play Auburn. And you know all about playing down at Auburn. You know about that. You guys almost lost there too. And then we'll see you. So keep winning. Keep winning. Keep that number 2 status, even though you guys really should be number 1. All right. Again, Milroe, 15 of 23, 219 yards. Didn't throw any touchdowns because he ran for 4 of them. 20 carries, 155 yards. I have been saying it for weeks. The guy has not been healthy, and he is healthy. You could see it against Tennessee. Started to turn the corner. This is the 5-star that Alabama got. This is the guy we saw at the beginning of the year. That's the speed. And the great part about him having to deal with whatever the injury was that limited his ability to run is that he had to learn how to figure it out in the pocket. He had to pass in some of these games. He had to go through, some nip and tuck situations and handled it. And then tonight, LSU took the lead and Alabama came back, and it was a back and forth game. There was nothing easy about tonight's game. LSU is a good football team. And they have a great offense, and that offense should be amongst the best in the league. But when Alabama was pressed, he knew what to do. Running wise, obviously he had the huge day, but Chase McClellan, great job. 14 for 63 yards and a touchdown. No one fumbled the football. No one put it on the ground. If you guys are old enough to remember the Shula days, there always seemed to be a fumble associated with a big game. That's not the case with these guys. Knock on wood, but that's not the case. These guys, they tote the rock and they protect it. Roydell Williams had 6 carries, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Jam Miller came in, 4 carries, 17 yards, but he also came in and laid some blocks and helped open up the passing game. For LSU, man, hats off. I said Jaden Daniels, 15-24 for 219 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. He played a hell of a game. He also ran for 11 carries and 163 yards. The guy's legit, man, and hopefully he's okay and he's coming back. Malik Neighbors, I knew he was good. Seeing him in person, he's really good, man. 10 catches, 171 yards. A pretty hard guy to contain. Kyron Lacey had a couple of catches and a touchdown in the game. Thomas got D'd up. Taylor got D'd up. 3 catches, 36 yards, 3 catches, 19 yards. But they got a lot of guys that can make plays. The biggest weakness that I think that LSU has is, besides Daniels, they just don't have a running game. Diggs had 8 carries and 24 yards. None of those guys scare you at all. John Emery, we've heard about him forever. 1 carry, nothing. Williams had 4 carries, 19 yards. None of those guys really concern you that much. Their offensive line's pretty good. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Caleb Downs, 13 tackles, 9 solos. Justin Abigby, 6 tackles, 2 solos, a sack in the game, and that was hard to get, right? Terry and Arnold had 5 tackles, 4 solos. Dallas Turner had, 2 solos, tipped up a ball that was intercepted, 4 tackles. Alabama's defense was really good. Greg Penn for them had 10 tackles and 6 solos in the game. It was a very rare, just shitty game for Will Reichard. 0 for 2, something that we haven't seen. Burnham made 1 punt, and it was basically and don't forget, Jay Bramlett, their punter, is from Tuscaloosa, so he got to come back home and play. I think he went to Northridge, which is cool. Team stats. I'll pull these up for you guys. And this is interesting. This is where the games are won and lost. Third down efficiency, LSU was 4-9. Bama was 11 of 14. That gets you beat right there, because every time you're doing that, you're extending drives, you're staying on the football field. LSU couldn't get Alabama off the field. Bama and LSU almost identical yardage, right? Bama 507 and LSU 478. But fourth down efficiency, twice LSU went for it and twice they didn't get it. And one of them was with Daniels in the first half, and that was a big play in the game because they were tough to get off the field, right? Passing wise, 219 yards for the Tide, 272 for LSU. Team stats wise, Bama outrushed them 288 to 206. Time of possession, 33-33. Magic number for the Crimson Tide, 26-27 for LSU. And again, a 42-28 final. So, as we kind of get towards the end of the show, put me back in the studio. A couple things here. First off, LSU's got great playmakers. Their offense, I know I picked the score to be 44 to 24, right? And it was 42-28, but it didn't feel that close. These are high-scoring games, and they're good. They're a good team. They're a good team. They've got a lot of injuries on defense, and it definitely cost them. but that's a tough win. And they're going to go. I bet you they went out. They could easily win out if they stay together and play good football. But for Alabama, it's another step towards getting to Atlanta. And B-Puck, we want to see you in Atlanta. We do, but we can't worry about that. We got to go to Kentucky. You know, the doormat that you guys play every year. Lexington's a tough place. Saban's probably his worst loss in college, one of them anyway, was when his number one Tigers were beaten down there by the Wildcats. He's got to take care of business and then got to beat Auburn to get there. So nothing's guaranteed, but you took care of the 2 revenge games that you had back-to-back weeks, and that was sweet. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that, these games, they're all like memorable. And that's what's cool about having a rival like this. You know, Georgia, you guys don't have a rival in the West, in the East. Nobody over there that you play and they give you a game. And that's all going to change when we get to, the big conference when we're all kind of in the same thing. But this has been, since Saban got to Alabama, this has been the game. It determines who wins the West. It determines who wins the SEC. It determines who wins the national championship. Great athletes, NFL players. Some of the best games in the SEC have been Alabama and LSU since, for the last 20 years. And, and I think tonight's going to be one of those again. You're going to look back and you're going to be like, hey, they had Jaden Daniels and they had Malik Neighbors, and Alabama had Dallas Turner and they had, Jalen Milroe, and this happened and that happened. But that's what rivalry football is about. That's what's cool. That's what's fun about this. And I can't wait to talk about this game tomorrow. We're going to get together and do the rollback show, which will drop tomorrow, probably about 4:00. Where we get to have a day to just suck it all in and then think about it. And then you guys know, we'll have Jay Coker in here on Monday on for Roll Tide Pods with Disrupt Media. You can catch that over there, Elephant in the Room. And then Ryan Anderson will be on with Jake and I on Thursday, and we'll probably be talking a lot of Kentucky. But what a great night, man. And thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you. The super chats, Dino Vine, man, $200, it's the best super chat night I've had in this, in my career. But it's worth it. It's worth it because this right here, this blue moon that I put in here for Coker and Ryan Anderson is for you. This tip. Roll Tide, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. I almost feel I feel like I've had such a good time though that I don't even know if I want to even get off because we've had so much fun. But we'll be on here all week. We'll be talking about this stuff all week. We'll be doing this all week. We'll have stuff constantly dropping. And I just want you guys to know how much I appreciate you. Roll Tide, everybody. Again, Bama with the win. 42-28. I'm Mick Gillispie. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel, post-game show. And I don't know. I'll probably still be smiling about this one tomorrow. Roll Tide, everybody.